Kobe, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead. And
gets the ball, puts up a three-pointer. Bang! Steph Curry. Bryant on the move with the jump.
All right, a few days have passed and a new NBA champion has been crowned. The Boston Celtics won their 18th banner last night, their 18th championship after a 106-88 blowout versus the Mavs last night. They dominated from start to finish. Like, you could just kind of just feel like the minute they came out and gave the Mavs that first punch in the mouth, there was no real like chance for the Mavs to really have a chance to like get back into it and actually make it a competitive battle, you know. So they won 106-88 in all 4 games they won. They actually held Dallas to under 100 points. So for everybody coming into the series, we were talking about how Luka and Kyrie could be the best offensive backcourt ever, you know what I'm saying, just the best backcourt duo or whatever the hell people were saying. They came out and they held that duo, held that entire team to under 100 points during the entire series. And, you know, just coming off, you know what I'm saying, the Timberwolves series and the OKC series where you really saw the strengths of that Dallas Mavericks team, seeing them match up against this Boston Celtics team, which is a complete mismatch, 1 through 5, start to finish, every single game. While they did have the best player on the court, Luka was out there trying his damnedest, you know what I'm saying? But even in this game, you kind of can just see that it was just too much. It was too much. Like, I think that the people, even people like me who came and thought that the Dallas Mavericks were going to have a chance to upset the Boston Celtics, we really just kind of relied too heavy into the whole, you know, Luka is, you know what I'm saying, the guy. It's Luka's time to, win his championship and take his throne as the best player in the world. And the Celtics were just like, nah, that's not how this shit works. You know what I'm saying? We're a fucking excellent constructed team, 1 through 7, really 1 through 9. Like, down the roster, everybody on this team, if they weren't on the Boston Celtics, they would be playing somewhere else. It's not a single player on this team that's only getting playing time because they're on the Boston Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Drew, Derek White, they could potentially be the best defensive backcourt we've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, the way how they really put Kyrie in the torture chamber, especially whenever they played in Boston, it was just like so crazy to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tatum and Brown, and there's been so much, you know what I'm saying, conversation about that duo, about, you know what I'm saying, will they ever be able to get it done? Will they have to trade one of them? And they basically just they stayed the course. You kind of just saw, like, during this playoff run, just like how selfless they've become over the course of, you know what I'm saying, all the playoff upsets they had over the years and the disappointments and making the finals in 2022 and, you know, having a 2-1 lead but losing the series overall. Like, you just saw that coming into this playoff run, while yes, they were far and away the best team, they weren't going to let ego, they weren't going to let anything distract them from their ultimate goal. And that's a huge testament to those two as the leaders of the team. That's a huge testament to Joe Mazzulla as somebody who picked up this team just last year, was it? He picked up this team, you know what I'm saying? They already had these crazy high expectations. They were expected to be a team. They were coming off a finals berth, and, you know what I'm saying, Ime Udoka has his unfortunate things happen to him, and they thrust Joe Mazzulla into this position, and he delivered. You know what I'm saying? He comes through. He always going to give you some kind of funky, weird post-game interview or something like that. But the guy is meticulous. The guy is very detail oriented, and like I said, man, his strategy, his philosophy works. So let's just talk about Game 5, man. We'll wrap up Game 5, wrap up the finals here. So Jaylen Brown wins Finals MVP with stats of 20.8 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, I believe 5 assists per game, a steal and a half per game on 44% from the floor. So not crazy numbers, if we're being completely honest. Like, if we're looking at you know what I'm saying, people that you know how we're like usually like, you know, if we're talking about how Finals MVP is usually somebody who has these wild numbers. Like, I saw this graphic. I'm going to see if I can find it right now. So, boom, I'm actually going to pop the list up right here on the screen. So, Jaylen Brown, we just said he won the Finals MVP with numbers of 20.8 points per game, 5.4 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game, steal and a half per game on 44% from the floor. Now, that really goes against everything that we're used to when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, our Finals MVPs. You know what I'm saying? Look, Jokic last year gave us 30, 14, and 7 on 67% true shooting. Steph was 31, 6, and 5, 35, 13, and 5 for Giannis, 30, 12, and 9, 29, 10, and 4, 29. I get it. I understand that it's not, you know what I'm saying, it was not the most dominant, not the most, you know what I'm saying, clear cut, like, once this team wins, this guy's going to be the final MVP. But this Finals MVP was a testament to just how great overall this team was during the duration of these playoffs. You know what I'm saying? There was no one guy that, you know what I'm saying, really was far and away the best player. Like, while at the beginning of the series, I feel like Jaylen Brown had a clear advantage in terms of, I believe he had the early 30-point game in this series. He was playing great defense on Luka, picking his pocket, getting all these steals. I believe he had 6 steals between the first 2 games. So, you know what I'm saying? At one point in time, it was a clear-cut decision that it was going to be Jaylen Brown. But Jason Tatum in the later parts of the series, you know what I'm saying, he really held his own. In Game 3, I believe he had a 30-point performance that led to a win. And in Game 5 last night, he gives you 31, 8, and 11, 7 assists in the first quarter. Like, I honestly thought that we were going to be looking at a situation where they looked at, you know what I'm saying, like, what have you done for me lately? Like, Jason Tatum gives you 31, 8, and 11. Their stats are already close. Like, we might as well just go ahead and give it to the best player on the best team. Like, I thought we were going to give it to Tatum, but I'm glad that Jaylen Brown was able to get his recognition and able to, you know what I'm saying, really, like, get the spotlight for once, because it's always been about, you know what I'm saying, Tatum and Brown, or just Jason Tatum. Like, this playoff run really got a chance to sit down and really just kind of, like, appreciate Jaylen Brown for what he's done. You know what I'm saying? Coming into this season, he was coming off getting that $300 million contract, all the questions in the world. Like, are they going to be able to get it done? Are they going to be able to, you know what I'm saying, finally get over the hump and win that championship? And, you know what I'm saying, like, luckily for them, like, there were at no point in time was there any threat where we felt like, hey, maybe they won't be able to get it done. We didn't believe them. We didn't believe in them for whatever reasons, you know what I'm saying, whether it be history, whether it be Celtics hate, whether it be Tatum hate, whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, we didn't believe in them. We didn't believe in the Celtics. We didn't think they'd get it done. But I believe I said in the previous video, they showed us all year. I believe I said in that video, if you were to win a championship on paper, looking at the paper in big red bright letters, it would say, hey, Celtics is going to win this title. They were second in points per game all year. They were second in 3-point percentage, first in 3 points made, first in defensive rebounding, second in total rebounding. They were first in blocks. They were top 5 in offensive rating and defensive rating, the only team to be top 5 in both. And they were second in an effective field goal percentage. The team covered every single angle of basketball, and they dominated it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying before about Joe Mazzulla's philosophy, their game plan is to get up 1,000,000 threes. They're going to get up 1,000,000 threes, and that game plan will not work with everybody. But when you're a team who has so many great, you know what I'm saying, catch and shoot players, you know what I'm saying, so many good pull-up players, and, you know, Tatum and Brown, like, it makes it all work. It makes it all play. And you have, you know what I'm saying, stretch bigs and Porzingis and Al Horford. It makes it all make sense. I can't forget the white guys and Peyton Pritchard and Sam Hauser too. They knocked down shit too. I don't know how much time Peyton Pritchard puts in on that half-court shot, but that shit is chicken every time he shoots it. He shoots it with so much confidence. He shoots it like a regular jump shot, just like, let me just do this real quick. And it's butter every time. Like, and Sam Hauser, bro, whenever he gets in the game, he has his whole no dip 3 thing. He's just a shooter. Like, he's like a JJ Redick, Anthony Morrow, Ray Allen type. You know what I'm saying? Just straight get it out the mud, catch and shoot that John. Like, the white boys for the Celtics are disgusting also. It makes it all make sense. So huge shout out to the Celtics, man. Just like, the game was just like, it was over from the start. It was a coronation. It was a celebration. Basically, the minute the first quarter ended, and you just realize, oh, okay, this is where this is going. We're going towards the Celtics Avalanche to win the title. And, you know, good for them. Good for them. Let's go ahead and we'll talk about actually, no, before I talk about the Dallas Mavericks, I want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. There's been a lot of criticism going around as it pertains to the Milwaukee Bucks' decision to trade Jrue Holiday. Now, they were saying there was Joel Embiid coming out and saying, did they just trade them the championship? People are saying, oh, it's a terrible decision. They decided to get rid of Jrue because Jrue ended up being the piece. Listen, I don't think that the Bucks are wrong to have traded Jrue Holiday. If you want to go off the numbers, his playoff numbers the past couple of years, ever since the championship year, haven't been great. He hasn't been crazy efficient. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't really able to put up the points that the Bucks needed him to be able to put up. And it was a time where you could see that, and if the Bucks wanted to be able to make a leap to being a contender, you know what I'm saying, at all, it couldn't follow the same recipe of rolling out Jrue and Giannis and Chris Middleton. It just wasn't going to work. They had to bring in something that was going to, you know what I'm saying, jolt the offense. So no problem with them trading Jrue to bring in Dame. The problem that they did make here was they decided to trade Jrue Holiday to the Portland team that has no current situation. You know what I'm saying? They're in a rebuilding situation, so they don't need a player like Drew Holiday. They don't need somebody who is going to be like a glue guy and a guy that's going to, you know what I'm saying, like be a great veteran in the playoffs. Like they really had no use for Drew Holiday. So that made it very easy for them to flip Drew Holiday to the highest bidder. And if you're the Boston Celtics, you're licking your chops because you're like, whoa, wait a minute. We have a possibility to completely weaken. The Bucks decided to weaken themselves. Drew Holiday, they traded Drew Holiday off their own volition. They wanted Damian Lillard. So the Bucks weakened themselves. We have a chance to pick that guy up and ultimately just solidify a championship for us. You know what I'm saying? We have an opportunity we don't think we can get it done with Marcus Smart anymore. We're coming off, you know what I'm saying, the previous year where we were in a game 7 and Jason Tatum gets hurt. And if Jason Tatum doesn't get hurt, maybe there's a possibility that we win that series and we go to the finals and who knows what happens there. But like, we just didn't have enough what it takes to get over the hump. Marcus Smart was not the decision maker we needed to get over the hump. But Drew Holiday can be that guy. Drew Holiday is a smart basketball player. No shade to Marcus Smart. He's a smart basketball player. He plays great defense, just like Marcus Smart, and he's like just a touch better of an offensive player. And we think that touch better of an offensive player with his added defense, with his playoff experience, will be what it takes to turn us into a championship team. And they were 100% right. But the Bucks' decision to not flip Drew to another contender is going to be what bites them in the butt, or is what bit them in the ass, essentially. Because had they flipped Drew to, I don't know, had they flipped Drew to Philly, had they flipped Drew to the Clippers, had they flipped Drew to, what's another contender? I don't know, a team on that variety, had they flipped Drew to OKC, you don't feel like adding Drew Holiday to those rosters makes them, clear-cut favorite finals contenders. Favorite finals, you know what I'm saying, favorites, I guess. But you know that once Drew Holiday gets on that roster with Jason Tatum, with Jaylen Brown, they just brought in Porzingis, with Derek White and Al Horford, you know adding Drew Holiday to that lineup ends any chance that really anybody has. It ends any chance anybody had. And from the jump, the Celtics told us this was what it was going to be. They were dominant from start to finish. You know what I'm saying? They had a 14 game lead on second place at one point in the conference. They had the most 20-point wins. I believe they hit the most 3-point shots in total. They dominated all aspects. And in this finals, they suffocated the best offensive duo in basketball. They checked all the marks. They dominated in every facet of the game you could dominate in, and now it's time to just crown them and give them their credit. Like Jason Tatum said, what more can we really say? What more can we really say? Jason Tatum is now an NBA championship, an NBA champion, first time All-NBA plenty of times, All-Star plenty of times, going to be on the Olympic team. Jaylen Brown's got a crazy deal, now a Finals MVP, champion. All the noise and all the chatter the Boston Celtics have had to hear over the past 7-8 years, it all should be mute now. And the decision, and all we can do now is just be like, hey, can they do it again? And people might feel like they can, people might feel like they can't, but they'll never be able to take away this moment from this team. So shout out to them, shout out to the Celtics. Milwaukee, keep your head, man. Keep your head, bro. Y'all gonna get right eventually. Let's talk about the Mavs, man. So the Mavs coming off of the, you know what I'm saying, a great Western Conference Finals where they really just seemed like they dominated the Minnesota Timberwolves. You really never really felt like even though the games were close between Minnesota in the beginning, you never really felt like there was a chance that Minnesota was really going to win the series. You know what I'm saying? It's because it just felt like, as it came down to it, the Mavs are bringing out the two best players on the court. And at any time they could flip that switch and become the two best players on the court. And once that happens, the game is essentially over. We saw I believe in the closeout game, Kyrie and Luka both have 30 points per game. Luka is the game winner over Rudy Gobert in game 3. You know what I'm saying? Like they have the game where they blow the sweep and Minnesota blows them out, but they come back right back in game 5 and blow out Minnesota. And then coming into the finals, like I was saying, we all had this kind of feeling where like it was Luka Doncic's time to, you know, step into the limelight, him to finally to like claim the mantle of the best player in the world. and he ran into an unstoppable force that was the Boston Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Like, Luka did his thing in these finals. You know what I'm saying? People are going to criticize his defense. People are going to criticize, I guess, him acting hurt, even though he's been hurt really the entire playoffs. People are going to criticize whatever they criticize, but if I'm Luka Doncic, if I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, I feel good about Luka's performance. And now we know, like, what we got to work on. You know what I'm saying? Like, Luka can't be a defensive liability like he was at certain points in the series. I don't think his defense is really as bad as other people make it out to be. I think the whole the blow by percentage thing is kind of like overblown because, like, it's the NBA. Everybody's getting blown by in any given moment. And, like, on the flip side, you can probably say that Luka was blown by Jason Tatum at a crazy high percentage. So I'm not really too big into the blow by percentage stat. But Luka, at times, you could just see that he was more infatuated with getting foul calls than he was with playing actual defense. In the game 3, where they're coming back and they have a chance to make it a game, if he makes the decision to just play straight up defense with Jaylen Brown coming down the court instead of trying to, whether it be because he's tired, whether it be laziness, whatever it is, instead of making the decision to go and trying to take that charge, maybe we have a different game here. Maybe Jaylen Brown still scores, but we still need Luka Doncic to be on the floor, and he cannot bail the other team out by making those cheap late foul decisions that ultimately just cost the Mavs the series. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the Mavs win that game in game 3, we still have a game. You know what I'm saying? Like, the series can still end in 5, yes, but you just feel like momentum swings because now we're not dealing with a 3-0, the series is over. We're dealing with a 2-1 going into game 4 where the Mavs could potentially tie the series, or the Celtics can go up 3-1. But we've seen teams come back from down 3-1. Nobody in the history of the sport has ever come back and won from a 3-0 series lead. That's why I didn't bother making the video after game 4. Like, I just thought that was a flash in the pan. Like, the Dallas Mavericks had everything go right for them in game 4. They hit every single shot they wanted to hit. Josh Green was hitting threes. Derek Jones Jr., Derek Lively, he buried a motherfucking 3. Shit looked real. That shit look real smooth. I don't know where he got that from. He need to work on that for next year. But yeah, game 4 was just a flash in the pan. Like, and at the beginning of game 5, I sent out a tweet and I was like, did Boston just not care to play in game? Did they just not care to play in game 4? Like, I'm confused. Like, they came out, they got slaughtered from start to finish. But really, it doesn't matter. The Mavericks, they were outmatched the entire series. While it would have been really cool for them to, make it a series, or, we have a 2-2 or a 2-1 series or something like that. It just wasn't going to happen. They were outmatched, like I said, from the first man probably down to the 8th man, even though they had Luka being the best player. Every player after that was probably the Celtics up until we got to, like, player 7. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie Irving still has his demons he has to fight when it comes to Boston, man. Like, ever since he like the whole "I'll come back if you have me," and then going to the Nets and then stomping on Lucky, it's just been like he's not played well against Boston, but especially in Boston. He's played terrible in Boston. At this point, you got to feel like it's mental. It's a mental thing going on in his head where, like, whenever he goes into this arena and he just sees these fans and he just sees, the environment, he gets tight, he gets frantic, he gets out of himself. And for somebody like Kyrie Irving, who we're so used to seeing just be so comfortable and free flowing and, just look like he's having so much fun on the court, whenever he goes to Boston, you just see him pressing, you see him tight. And there's times where it makes him get out of his character. I believe earlier in the series, he was like, chattering with the fans. I don't think he said anything crazy, but he was chatting with the fans or something like that. Everybody knows what happens when he was in Brooklyn, when he was giving people the double finger and all that. And it's just something about Boston just really, like, unravels Kyrie. And, like, that's kind of a big deal. The Mavericks are going to be a team that hopes to be back in the finals next year because there's a good chance that you probably see this Boston Celtics team, barring, free agency and the draft and all that good stuff. If the Mavs do make it back, there's a very high chance that they end up seeing a Boston Celtics team. And you know what I'm saying? That's going to be something that Kyrie's going to have to get over. Like, it was great watching his his career renaissance over the course of these playoffs. And just kind of like seeing like just the leader that he's become and just like how beneficial he can be to winning basketball. I feel like he answered a lot of questions when it came to that. But like the biggest question, and it's a personal question too for Kyrie, because he has to ask himself, like, what's going on with me whenever I get in Boston? Why do I keep having these 4 for 17, these 5 for 24, these 3 for 19 performances? Like, that's not me. Like, I understand that it's not a great matchup for Kyrie. I believe that the Celtics team just kind of has everything that it takes to stop a Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? They have a shot blocker in Porzingis. They have great wing defenders in Drew and Derek and Jalen and Tatum. But I don't know. We've seen him play against great Warriors teams and be able to fry and put up 40 points per game. But when it comes to this lineup with the Celtics, he just can't. He can't figure him out. He can't figure him out. But listen, man, overall for the Mavericks, man, you gotta just feel like this is a great season for us. It's something that we can definitely build on, something that we should be proud of. You know what I'm saying? They made the finals. They came out of the Gauntlet West. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody could have came out of the West this year. You know what I'm saying? While the Denver Nuggets were a huge favorite, there were various times throughout the regular season where you felt like whether OKC or Dallas, or maybe potentially people had the Lakers, or, you know what I'm saying, the Clippers at certain points of the season, you felt like anybody could win the West. You know what I'm saying? And for the Mavericks to come out and to be that team, for them to knock out the Clippers, even though Kawhi Leonard was hurt, for them to knock out the 1-seeded Thunder, for them to knock out the Minnesota Timberwolves after the Timberwolves just knocked off the champs, like, things definitely, it's something for you to build on if you're the Dallas Mavericks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure what kind of moves they can make to really improve the team. I'm not saying like they don't have money or anything like that. I'm just saying I'm not sure if you can put together a better roster around Luka Doncic. Like, I guess at this point you would want a third option potentially. You would want somebody who can kind of like take some of the offensive load off of Luka and Kyrie. But then does that take away, you know what I'm saying, the offensive flow with Luka and Kyrie? Like, listen, it's not my job to figure it out. It's not my job to make the decisions. I just hope they're able to, you know what I'm saying, keep building on this, and coming into next season, they're able to contend for that title. Luka is still on the search for that first MVP. And listen, man, I think that coming into next year, he has a great chance to win it. But yeah, listen, man, that puts a bow on these NBA finals, man. Just a wild ride. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about how these finals and these playoffs and these playoffs overall have just been kind of boring. And I don't know if I would say that they've been boring, but they haven't been as exhilarating as previous years have been. I can say that. The fact that I feel like the best playoff series that we've had in these playoffs, here's a better way to say that. The last time we had a good playoff series in these finals, the last time we had a good playoff series in these playoffs was Nuggets versus Wolves, which was a month ago at this point, a month and a half ago. And you know what I'm saying? Boston swept the Pacers in 4. Even though they were exciting games, they were close games, it was a sweep, so it only lasted 4 games. Minnesota loses to Dallas in 5 games. Yes, the games 1 through 3 were fun, were exciting, but it was a 5-game series overall. And then we go into the finals, and while, like I said, some of the games were exciting, some of the games had good moments, some of the games were, you know what I'm saying, like really entertaining, ultimately it was just a 5-game series, and we knew who was going to win. You know what I'm saying? Really, probably from the beginning of the conference finals? No. I'm sorry. Let me not do that. We knew who was going to win the championship probably from game 2 of these finals. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we all hope that Dallas would have a chance to, you know what I'm saying, swing momentum in game 3. But you just felt like Boston was too good of a team overall. I see a lot of people actually complaining about the presentation for the NBA Finals this year, saying that they really didn't feel like it was a big ordeal. You know what I'm saying? The main focus wasn't really about the finals. They were talking about things like the Lakers head coach and, you know, just other shenanigans like that. And I can definitely agree with them on that. I feel like it used to be a super big deal when the finals came. Like, I remember on ABC there would be like, you know what I'm saying, like trailers like leading up into the finals, like the day of the game. You would see like kind of like a little bit of a mini movie about how each team got there. You know, everybody remembers the big giant trophy being like at the middle of center court with the team's logo. And with not being there, like, it honestly, it does take away from the experience a little bit. So I can definitely understand the confusion, also not confusion, but the argument also about, you know, about the presentation for the finals. It just feels like the NBA is definitely leaned very much into their sponsorships. Like, if you're watching the game and you see like 3 or 4 YouTube TV ads and like not even like a trophy at half court to signify that, hey, this is the NBA Finals, but I do know that the NBA Finals is presented by YouTube TV, like, it definitely did take away a little bit from the experience. So would I say that these playoffs were boring? No, but I will say that I think that we do need a new dynasty in the NBA. I think that we need a new dynasty. As much as people love to talk about, hey, I love the parity. I love that we've had 6 different champions in the last 6 years. It's been fun. It's been, you know what I'm saying, a wild ride. It's been a mystery not knowing who's going to win each year. But I just feel like we don't have like the storylines, you know what I'm saying? We don't have the extra, the outside buzz. Like what's happening on the court is great. It's fantastic. If you're a basketball fan, if you just love the game of basketball like me, you will enjoy that entirely. But you gotta be honest, a piece of you kind of does miss here's LeBron going up against the Warriors for the 3rd time in 4 years. Will he be able to knock them off? Will Golden State coming off a 73-win season, will they be able to cap it off with a title? LeBron comes back from 3-1. The bubble happens and the Lakers, you know what I'm saying, they win that thing. You know what I'm saying? The Raptors trade for Kawhi Leonard, and that's the missing piece they need to take. Like, that's all just been like kind of missing in the past previous years, because we've had Boston win a championship, but the Boston was the overwhelming favorite coming into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Last year we had the Denver Nuggets, but you know what I'm saying, not to take away from what the Nuggets did, but they kind of had circumstances come up where they played against, you know what I'm saying, the Timberwolves, and they played against the Suns, and they were just clearly better than everybody. They played really good the entire run. I guess the last time we had like a great storyline and championship moment would have to be the 2022 finals with the Warriors and the Celtics, because the Warriors go down 2-1 and Steph Curry has his crazy game. I believe it was in game 4. Yeah, it was in game 4 to, you know what I'm saying, tie the series and end up winning the series overall. I think that was probably the last time where it was like, hey, this is a great overall moment for the NBA, for sports, and all that good stuff. And I just feel like we haven't had that in recent years. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just looking at things wrong. I've been on the wrong side of arguments before, so I'm not going to get too mad at shape right now when it comes down to it. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about these NBA playoffs, about these NBA finals. Let me know if you are happy the Celtics won, mad the Celtics won, don't give a damn the Celtics won. And let me know what you think is next for the Dallas Mavericks in the future. All right, man. It's your boy JP Joe Putt. I'm out of here. Peace and love, family. Deuces.